Sreepada Rajam Sharanam Prapade. Sreepada Sreevallabha Charitramrutam. Chapter-32. Description of Navanadhas. Parayana of this chapter brings the grace of Sadhguru. After touching the lotus feet of Sreepada Sreevallabha, I asked, Lord, I hear that there are great Siddha yogis named as Navanadhas and that they are quasi incarnations of Lord Datta. I pray to Sri Charan to accept my prayer and tell me about them. I grasped that on hearing the name of Navanadhas, an ambrosial shower from the eyes of Sri Vallabha was streaming onto the external creation. I saw in his looks the consciousness of love shown by a mother cow on its own young calf. He was gratified and spoke like this. My dear ones, Vatsendra, Goraksha, Jalandhara, Gahani, Abhanga, Chauranga, Bhartari, Charpata, and Naganadha are Navanadhas. Mere remembrance of them gives auspicious results. The grace of Lord Datta would certainly be on those who recollect the names of Navanadhas. Some years before the commencement of Kali Yuga, Shri Krishna, surrounded by great devotees like Uddhava and all Yadavas, thought about Navanarayanas, who are now called Navanadhas. Emperor Rishabha had 100 sons. Among them, 9 ones are having the Narayana Amsa, fractional faculties of Narayana, were called Navanarayanas. Their names are Kavi, Hari, Antarikshudu, Prabhududu, Piplayanudu, Avirhotrudu, Dhrumiludu, Chamasudu, and Karabhajanandu. All of them were Siddha Purushas who were in a state of Avdutas. As per my command and to comply with my promise made in Krishna incarnation and to conduct the mission of establishment of Dharma, they were born on this earth as Navanadhas. Kavi was born as Matsyendranath. Hari was born as a disciple of Matsyendranath under the name of Goraksha. Antariksha was born as Jalandhara and Prabudha as his disciple under the name of Kanifa. Piplayana was born as Charbata. Avirhotra was born as Nageswandha. Drumila under the name of Bharadrinandha. Chamasa under the name of Ramana Nadha were born. Karabhajan was born under the name of Ganayudha. At the beginning of creation, the semen of Brahma leaked due to some reason. Vyasa Maharshi wrote in Bhavishya Purana that many sages would be born in many places from that semen. There was one, Uparacharu Vasavu. He was enamored by Urvashi. His sperm leaked and fell into the Yamuna river. A fish drank it. From that fish, Matsyendranath was born. Shiva burned Cupid into ashes with the fire from his forehead. In that ash, the soul of Cupid was lying in a subtle form. When one king named Bruhadradra was performing a yagna, Jalandhanath emerged from the fire altar of that sacrifice. From the semen of Brahma that fell into the river of Narmada river, Ravana Siddha was born. Some sperm of Brahma fell on the hood of a snake. The snake ate it, thinking it to be a food item. So it became pregnant. Janma Jaya was performing Sarpa Yoga. A sage by name Ashtika rescued this great serpent from destruction. He hid that serpent nymph, Padini, daughter of Takshashakha, in the hole of a big Audumbara tree. Avarihotra had to be born from that embryo embedded in the womb. The daughter of Takshaka kept that embryo in the hollow of that Audumbara tree and left for her native place. From that, Avarihotra was born under the title Vatasiddha Nagandha. When Matsyendra was wandering in the country, he gave some holy ash charged with mantra to a issueless lady. She was having no faith and she threw that ash into the heaps of rubbish and sweepings. As that holy ash was having great power, Gorakshanath emerged from that. During the marriage of Parvati, Brahma, who officiated as a priest for the ceremony, became distracted on seeing the beauty of Parvati. On account of that, his semen leaked. He was ashamed and he rubbed that semen with the heel of his leg, concealing it from all. That rubbed semen became 60,000 parts, and from that 60,000 sages called Valakilyas were born. Some part of it that was still left turned into waste and it fell into the river Bhagirathi. That gradually moved into the grassy shrub in the river bank and was caught there. The soul of Piplayana entered into it, and Navanatha, by name Charaptanath, was born. A sage by name Kaulika, while going from his hut for collecting alms, kept the begging bowl outside the hut. At that exact time, the sperm of sun dropped into it. The Maharshi who noticed it preserved it there. Bharthari means begging bowl. So Bhartrinath was called like that because he was born from the begging bowl. In the Himalayan mountain, in a dense forest, a big elephant was sleeping. On seeing Saraswati, Brahma was smitten with infatuation, and as a result, his sperm leaked. Providentially, that semen fell into the ear of that elephant. One person called Prabhuda took life from that, and as he was born out of the ear of the elephant, he became famous under the name Karna Kanifa as one among the Navanathas. Goraksha performed a clay human image chanting the Sanjeevani mantra. From that image, due to the efficacy of Sanjeevani mantra, Karbhajana came to life and was born with the name of Ghananidha. These Navakrishnas preserved their gross bodies in the Mandhara mountain and incarnated on the earth with their potencies as Navanadhas and participated in the program of establishment of Dharma. Then I questioned, Victory, victory unto the Guru Sarvabhauma. You said that Navanadha incarnations were the quasi incarnations of Navakrishnas. Oh Lord, is there any difference between Navakrishna and Navanadhas? Sreepada Sreevallabha was all smiles and directed towards us his gracious looks mixed with divine love. He proclaimed, Dear ones, I am the great Sankalpa for all this creation. The sankalpas of all the gods and goddesses are only fractions of my great resolve. These fractional intentions will have independence to a limited extent. A cultivator ties a cow to a tree. He ties it with a long rope. That cow can graze only up to the distance allowed by the rope. It means that the cow has a predetermined limited space in which it can graze. It can graze subjected to those limitations. It implies that it was granted a restricted liberty. It can graze freely in the zone of freedom granted to it. If it has to cross those limits for grazing, it must necessarily have the permission of the farmer. When the fodder at that particular place exhausted, the farmer would tie it to another tree or lengthen the rope if it is retained at the same tree. In the same fashion, the quasi incarnations will be granted independence subject to certain canons of dharma and karma. Therefore, the resolve emanates from the prime nature. The responsibility of implementing it would be entrusted to the part incarnations. When any problems crops up, these fraction incarnations submit those difficulties to the prime phenomena. They bring the grace from the Mula Tattva and cause welfare to the living beings. As the fractional incarnations of the main nature do not have bad qualities like lust, hate, arrogance, etc., they are capable of performing all the activities that the Mool Prakriti is capable of. Therefore, as far as living beings are concerned, there is no difference even if an incarnation comes as a Purna Avatar or a Amsa Avatara. Victory, victory unto Sreepada Sreevallabha, Digambara, Digambara, Sreepada Vallabha Digambara, Brahma Vishnu Maheshwara, Sreepada Vallabha Digambara.